There we go. Think we're all set, chat. Evening, them. Hey, Nicolino. Howdy, Xavier. Okay. Tweet sent out. We're all good. Oh, yeah. There we go. Oh, wait. I gotta actually tab in if I want to play. There we go. Alright, I got the shot from... Yeah, I got this shot. Howdy to thee! Hey, Raishin. Huh. 3 of you? Do I have a shot of you? I feel like I should if I don't. I'm lost, chat. I somehow lost. There we go. I somehow lost this shot. Well, there's the Erd tree. Yeah, so we're just not gonna get shots of this. Like, that's just not happening. Okay. So in that case, I'll just take this. That way I know where to look for it in case I ever want to find this in the future. Alahamora Loki. Hello, sorry, I-Man? God, now I'm getting confused between you two. Hey, Pedro. How we doing? Man, I was so happy with yesterday's HSR stream. Even if we had to split it up in 2, it ended up being super fun as a 2-parter. Oh, more of these. Goodness me. You know what? I don't even care that it's in, I don't even care that it's raining. I'm in such a good mood, chat. Jellyfish reminded me, are those stone ball eye things you find around Everjail some sort of security system? No, they seem to just be constructs that try to absorb or emit gravity magic. I'm not sure which one. So you could argue they're powering the Everjails, but you could also argue they are draining power from the Everjails for some other purpose. We do see them explode when they gather enough power, though I can't tell if that's because of malfunction or some other side effect of their system. It's not raining, it's snowing. Maybe where you're at, I-Man, but not here. I want to say I have a shot at this, but I actually don't remember. I honestly don't remember. I know we've gotten one that's, like, below the cliffs here, but I don't know if we've gotten one up here. Let's correct that. God, this thing is farther than I remember. I forgot to mention that I noticed that the stuff on Melania's left hand has the same texture as the rope wrapped around her waist. Not sure exactly what you're referring to, Xavier, but I'm sure I'll look at a screenshot later and it'll make sense. Yeah, yesterday's stream was great. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. The challenge content was great. I'm glad we were able to get a good bit of challenging stuff in for this week. Because now it's going to be very boring, like, farming. And, like, I'll probably find, like, a few hidden quests or something in HSR. That'll be a little bit of fun to tide us over. But it's mostly going to be, like, waiting for the next patch now. And, boy, am I ready. Firefly? Just when are you coming home? She better get drip marketed, like, next week or whenever they do it. I am desperately in need of knowing when Sam is going to be playable. Please be a fire destruction character. Nope, nothing here. Is Melania blind? I don't know. As far as I can tell, she doesn't have any functional blindness as far as mechanics go. Of course, it's always possible that Miyazaki and company have dropped that since their early games. Oh my god, of course it's raining now. Liurnia weather be Liurnia weather. Hello, Tyrone. What's up, my liggas? Hello. Welcome on into the chat. Feel free to get comfy. I don't recall having you in here before. I think it might support my guess that this stuff is supposed to be a golden thread skin graft. Ah, I see. So you think it's something that comes from Miquella, and that it's like a product of that. Maybe like Miquella trying to wrap Malenia in like golden thread or something, try to cure her of her rot or whatever, and it's left a mark maybe. Bro doesn't remember from the last 2 streams. Nope, I don't. Sorry. That's my goldfish memory. If you're not here consistently every day, I cannot guarantee that I will still remember you. That just how it be. That really how it be sometimes. Where is those stupid? Listen, I didn't hallucinate the sunflowers, chat. They're here somewhere. I'm just blind. Man, you have to wonder how I go through my day when I have a goldfish memory like this, and I'm this legally blind. There we go. It's literally right next to me. Yeah, I feel like I remember these, especially with how this one tilts so much compared to that one. There we go. And a little curvature here. Yeah, that's fine. We just want it to be slightly tilted. I feel like Miquella might be the villain of the game for some reason. Some lines in the trailer threw me off. I could see Miquella being the final boss for the area. Like, Miquella's there as, like, a helper or whatever. We follow his trail, go to Messmer, defeat Messmer, and then Miquella's like, thank you, and now you shall die, and turns into Trina and starts fucking us up or something. Like, I could see it. But, like, who knows, really? We'll just have to see how the storyline of the DLC plays out to know what Miyazaki's got cooking. So my conclusion is Messmer is Malenia in Dream Shadow Realm. I don't know. I really don't think they would slap Malenia on with like an additional like dual body thing on top of her rot thing. Just my 2 cents. I really think Messmer's just going to end up being his own character. I think trying to conflate him with other characters is a mistake. How can plants have Flame of Frenzy? I mean, how can plants have magic? They got like they absorbed the juice from the crystal space rock. So like they can do that. Why can't they do magical stuff? Gosh, there's so much of this crap. Yeah, the lands between is quite beautiful, especially when Mill Village, while those happy dancers and villagers enjoying its festival. Yeah, the game is very nice and pretty. I still think Liurnia and Langdell would be, like, my top of the list for that, but, like, the whole game has a very, very pleasant look to it, despite not being graphically intense. Honestly, I would argue it's because it's not, you know, graphically intense that, it's able to express so much beauty. I think one problem we're having with, games becoming so graphically adept in their photorealism is that we're taking away a lot of what would be traditional cinematography and art design. We're sort of like depriving that avenue for artistic expression, and it's causing a lot of games to they look objectively they look nice, beautiful, stunning, etc. But they also kind of look samey. Or, what's the word? Sort of, devoid of, I wouldn't say culture, but... like, sort of devoid of any, auteurship. It feels like something that got churned out by a machine more so than a game having a artistic vision behind it. Lack of identity, yeah, that's definitely another way you can describe it. But do plants have capacity to go crazy, or is that irrelevant to the Frenzy Flame? Uh, I don't know enough about the cosmology to say where the Frenzy Flame sits into it exactly, but if I just had to hazard a guess, I would say that the Frenzied Flame is just a power with which plants like the Miranda flowers would absorb, or is being or in some cases the flowers would be generated from the flame itself. It has nothing to do with their capacity to go insane. As again, like you said, assuming that's possible with a plant, I don't know. It seems pretty consistent that plants, although they can have some degree of intelligence and sentience to them, they don't seem to operate to the same capacity as, say, us. They may be more instinctual. And at least when we get to advanced plant life like the Erdtree. I think outside of that, it may be that plants are kind of just sort of whatever they physically develop to be, less so what they potentially think or can conceptualize. I don't know if we see much of that outside of there. Again, I could be wrong, but that'd be how I'd hazard a guess. There we go. You know what? I think I'm gonna accept having, I think I'm just gonna accept having some of it be hidden. Yeah, like that. Yeah. We don't need to see the full tree, right? So we just need to do something like this. And then I'm gonna lock that in place and start playing with the lighting. Yeah, that works. We'll go back to... Yeah, we'll go back to this. There we go. I feel like a lot of games have good art direction, but when translating that to the game itself, they just end up looking like assets from Unreal Engine end up looking samey. You'd have to give me examples like that, because I'd have to think of, oh, what's a game that has good art direction, but then they look samey because of, say, the engine they're using or whatever. Like, let's use Unreal 5, because that's, like, the premier engine for everybody right now. Like, that's the big thing that everyone's hot and bothered about. Flower analysis stream? I wouldn't say it's a flower analysis per se. I'm just trying to get some shots here of these roots, because I got like 1 or 2 shots, but it was like from one patch, and I'm finding more of them now as I take a closer look, right? But I also want to go to Lingdell because Xavier mentioned something yesterday that I want to check out, so we'll see how that goes. And then... Ooh, I might like this one a little more, chat. I don't know, it just looks more vibrant. Oh my god. I don't know why nowadays it's like just sort of like closing in on itself when I do... Ooh, that's a cool... I mean, that's just a nice shot. Very rare you can... Oh my god, stop minimizing! It does that when it does screenshots now. I don't understand it. It's the delay on the screenshots, too, that's very annoying to me, but whatever. This could be always an option. Gotta love God Ray sometimes. Yeah, again. It's amazing how much this game can look so pretty without having to rely too hard on its graphics capability. Last of Us 2 is like that for me. Well, I don't like Last of Us 2, period. Because, let's be honest... Nah, too late to make the Last of Us 2 doesn't exist joke. Would be really nice if we got a sequel for Last of Us 2. It's such a great game. You know, it really doesn't need a sequel, but, you know, Naughty Dog, being such awesome, wonderful writers that they are, I'm sure that they come up with something that's totally a great way to do a sequel. I forgot I've asked this before, but since the arena you fight Estelle in, Ronnie Quest looks like Ancestor Spirit Arena. Did Estelle destroy Ancestor Spirit? No. They might have reused assets for the Estelle Arena, but the Estelle fight does not take place there. It's a completely separate dimension that probably doesn't even exist anywhere on the map, despite how, obviously, the game has to put it somewhere on the map. It's probably some sort of inner spirit realm within the actual creature's mind. Oh, The Last of Us 2 show is, worse, you say, Tyrone? See, I've just not been interested in Last of Us ever since the sequel, so I was like, you know, I just don't care. I mean, I always found Uncharted kind of, like, fun, but I've never found it, like, that narratively compelling, though I hear a lot of people really do for some reason. I mean, it's a fun action game, but, like, it's kind of just that. It's the same way I feel about, what's it called? Until Dawn, right? Like, Until Dawn's a fun game, like, don't get me wrong. It's more, like, interactive movie or whatever, right? But, like, it's a fun, like, B horror film experience as a game. But that's what it is, like a B rank horror film. It's like, I'm not gonna, like, call it, like, the greatest piece of cinematic, writing that I've ever seen in a game. Yeah, I'm not seeing any other shots that I like, chat. I think we give up here. I think I'm done. If Until Dawn gets a sequel, it should be called After Dawn. That would be funny if people actually, did that for their, naming conventions with stuff. Joel's a whiny bitch in the show, and his character is almost completely changed for no reason. If that's so, that's disappointing, but... Yeah, it's disappointing if that's the case, but, you know, different actors, I'm sure different showrunners in many respects. So I wouldn't be surprised if they took some liberties with the material. Listen, I'm just happy if my anime adaptation ends up being really good. I have no faith when it comes to, film or TV show adaptations. Hello there, Barbarian Man. Hey, I am. I forget, what's on here? Just a somber smithing stone. We don't care about anything else, huh? There we go. Who drags a heavy-ass chair into the middle of the wilderness? Apparently a lot of people in the lands between. They just keep on dragging all these chairs around. Truly is a wonder. I just loved how weird the houses from Resident Evil 7 was. I tried recreating on The Sims 2 3, and it was kind of funny that the front door was located where the soldier statue with the shotgun. Yeah, that's another thing. When you look at, like, games outside of the context of the game itself, like, things can start making, like, zero sense, right? Like, we always love to dunk on DS2 here, but, there's a lot of games which fall victim to that, where their world is just absolutely not cohesive. It may be a fun game, it may be a fun experience in the moment, but the moment you start thinking about it, you're like, wait a second. Wait a moment. Yeah, so we can't get a, Oh, it's, I didn't even notice that the Erdtree was frickin' fading there at the base. God damn, that's... Always does that, huh? Or I do it like this, then. Oh my god. Stop minimizing. I really need to fix whatever's going on with the screenshots. I really think it's because of the hard drive, but if it's not, I gotta figure out what the problem is. I think it's just I need more hard drive space so I can do it much more quickly. There we go. Oh, nope. Oh my god. There we go. Back. There we go. 11.99. That's fine. That's close to midday, as we're gonna get. The dungeons in this game make no sense when you think about them. In what respect do you mean they make no sense? Because, like, caves? I mean, it's hard to not make sense of it. Make a cave not make sense. Catacombs? They're a bit gamey, I would say, with how, like, you have the levers and stuff, but that's about it. And then... What's the last one, right? Not catacombs again. It's caves, catacombs, and... God, I play this game almost all the time and I don't remember now. Ruins. Mines, there it is, the tunnels, right. Again, tunnels, mines, hard to not make sense of those. Do you think insomnia was common in the royal capital because of the huge glowing tree next to it? I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. They drag these chairs around so that people could take breaks when traveling. Man, I'm feeling extra tired. Let's take a break. They say as they drag heavy chairs, tiring them out. Truly. A moment. I just like how every dungeon, location, whatever, ends in a boss fight. Yeah, I can see that becoming very repetitive. It's almost predictable at that point, right? I think we got enough shots of this. Alright. This will be the last one. There we go. Or it's even funnier when the interior floor plan doesn't match the exterior because they're separate instances. Oh, yeah. Like, you have, like, the clown houses where it's like, there's no way all of this fits inside this place. At least with Dark Souls, I'll give them credit. They do make all that stuff kind of fit, even if it's still nonsense. Like, you're going from, like, the front door of Anor Londo's royal manor to actually inside the manor, and there's a wall there, like, literally, like, 2 feet away from where the door's supposed to be. So, like, they almost have a house that is, like, semi-coherent, but then they just kind of fail there, expecting the player not to ever remember that door. The catacombs of this game are built gamey and don't even function as catacombs. I wouldn't say that. There's tons of places of which they have people buried in there. And oh, right. I forgot about you. So I wouldn't say they don't function as catacombs. Again, the purpose is to have them all buried in there and be filtered into the Erdtree route. So within the context of the universe, I would say they make sense. But I would agree, they're very gamey in how they're designed. Some of that is intentional and lore-wise, but yeah. Outside of the concept of traps and sort of individual characters who might be trying to pull a little bit of mischief. Yeah. It is not the most, it's not the most realistic take on, tombs. But then again, tombs in games have never been realistic. They've always been based on, like, outdated, you know, media concepts of how, like, an Egyptian tomb grave robbing experience would go. Oh, yeah, bosses like Watchdog, sure, but, like, I definitely agree. It would be nice if not every, like, you could even make a lore explanation or something, right? Like, maybe the boss was already killed or something. You kind of get that with some of them, but it's just they replace a other boss with a different boss. So it's like, okay. Like, I'm pretty sure that's how the Langdale Catacombs thing is supposed to be interpreted with the omens and that one blood ritualist guy. Yeah, boss variety is also a problem, for sure. This game suffers from the DS2 problem as well, in that it definitely feels kind of, it feels unpolished in that respect. And And unlike DS2, the problem is because they have so much of a world that they have to fill up with things in order to make it feel, you know, not barren. They end up having to reuse lots of bosses. And again, not saying it doesn't make sense in the context of the lore and stuff, but yeah, from a gameplay perspective, it is no. Yeah, and there's no more here, so I think we're good from this point on. Let me just do this real quick. Yep. Pretty sure there's, yeah, there's somewhere around here. I think there's some golden sunflowers, but I don't know if they spawn in at this point. Guy was having the run of his life. Like how the one in Lanedale messing with you, wasn't I here just moments ago? Yeah, America's quite the prankster, isn't she? That's definitely her calling card. At least DS2 bosses get good after the 30th one. Don't worry, guys. The bosses start getting really good after you get to through the first 30. No cap. Yeah, runbacks though are consistent with all the games though, Raijin. Like, I'll be honest, if there's ever future remakes of these games, I definitely hope we will be getting some, like, I don't know, like, Stakes of Gwyn for, like, say, a Dark Souls remake to replace the Stakes of Marika. I would like them to be integrated much more naturally, like, as an option in the menu, to be honest. Or have it set up so that way you can do all the things you could do at a bonfire at the stake, except for, yeah, actually, maybe with some limitations. Like, obviously, you can't warp there and stuff. I don't think you should be able to do that. But just as far as, like, being able to have your character set up or things like that, I'd like that to be done without having you to go through the menu. Because I hate dying. It's like, would you like to respawn at your Grace Point or the Stake of Marika? It adds a menu to my death that I really just don't want to deal with. Just respawn me at the last checkpoint. Hey, Mercy. Welcome on in. Feel free to lurk inside your box. What's your most overrated and underrated boss from Software Catalog? Overrated. I'm not too familiar with, like, the community's feelings on the bosses too much. So I'll just say overrated's probably Midir. Because I'm sure a lot of people would just say, like, oh, Midir's such an awesome boss fight because he's, like, quote-unquote hard. I find him boring as fuck, along with every other dragon fight in these games, so I will say Midir and give a consolatory prize to every other dragon. And then, underrated. What's a boss fight that I think is really good or cool or what have you, but doesn't get enough attention? I believe this. Oh. That makes my life easy. Midir's a cool character, at least. Yeah, lore-wise, I think Midir's fine. Like, I don't have any issues with the characterization stuff. Just, I find dragon boss fights in general. Again, my problem with a lot of the dragon boss fights is more of a principle one. I don't like bosses where their gimmick is, one, like, they're big and chunky. They have big, chunky health bars. Two, they're kind of on the slower side relative to the rest of the fights in the game. And three, that they hit really hard. Because then that just makes it very boring, where now I'm just like, okay, I can really easily dodge this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And I just have to do that for like 15 minutes straight, because the boss takes forever to cut through that health bar. And then by the time that you're done, you're probably falling asleep, so you're going to get hit and dead anyway, because then you're like, ah, I'm dead. So it's like, oh, okay, fine, whatever. I just don't like those fights. Didn't like it since Gaping Dragon. Unironically, I would say then, for my overrated boss fight, it would probably have, I'm sorry, underrated boss fight, I would probably say Dragon God. I think Dragon God is a kind of cool fight. Now, granted, I've only played the remake version, so I don't know how much the AI was tweaked compared to the base game version. But I think just the general concept of having to, like, cleave through the rocks, deal with the stealth stuff, right? And then, like, get to the ballistas and things. I think that is cool as a boss battle. I do think that fight deserves a little bit more love than it gets. Again, I can understand if people find it frustrating. But I definitely think there's something there. Yeah, it wasn't tweaked a bit in the remake, unfortunately. Then I don't think it's that bad as people say, if so. I enjoyed that fight. These stupid blue flowers. Alright, we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna zoom out just a little bit. It's just a little cheating, chat. It's just a little cheating. There we go. Then we do this, and we're good. Dragon is probably my least favorite fight out of literally anything from FromSoft. Yeah, I figured I would say something controversial there. I did not know it was supposed to have a stealth mechanic. Yeah, I can imagine if with how the game conditions you, you'd be like, oh, now I'm supposed to stealth? Yeah, I could understand people finding it frustrating. I thought it was cool. It's weird that a lot of people call Bed of Chaos worst boss in Dark Souls 1 when Four Kings is right there. Four Kings is just a DPS check. That's really all it is. It's just, are you killing the boss, the individual king, fast enough before, like, you get overwhelmed by the 4 or potentially, like, 5 or 6, you know? But, you know, from software, it's not... FromSoft is hoping you die before you can notice that. But yeah. I think Bed of Chaos just needs an Elden Ring jump mechanic, and the fight would actually be perfectly fine. Like, unironically, I think it's just missing that. So much blood. Yeah, plus if you have poise, like, the Four Kings just get bodied. If you can just poise through all their attacks, they can't keep up. I don't know why higher LOD does that to the camera. It's a really weird thing. Of all the problems higher LOD should cause, that should not be one of them. I have no problem with the fact it's not a traditional fight. It's just I didn't understand it all and just kept punch until I won. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I understand if you run in, you're conditioned to have like a normal fight, and now you're expected to have a stealth mechanic that you aren't, you know, given a tutorial thing on, right? You're supposed to just figure it out. Again, I can see how that can be frustrating. Totally 100%. But I liked it. I generally think the other Lord Soul boss fights are worse than Bed of Chaos. Seath and Nito are worse in my opinion. I think Seath is just a boring fight. I don't know if that's like an unpopular opinion or something, but again, it goes back to my point about dragons. The only difference with him is that he also has the curse mechanic, which everybody hates. Again, I don't mean that in the it shouldn't exist in the game. It's just like it's designed to be a frustrating mechanic. Like that's the point of it. So like with that in mind, I totally do not, there we go. Boom. I totally think that Seath is a terrible fight through and through. But is it better than Bed of Chaos? Oh, absolutely. I think Bed of Chaos is, in fact, a terribly designed fight. It's obnoxious, it's annoying, it's not fun, really. Again, if we had an Elden Ring jump, I would be saying, no, I think it's a great fight. But we don't have an Elden Ring jump. Because Elden Ring, being able to jump the Bed of Chaos's hand swipes would be such an interesting way to make that an actually fun puzzle boss. because then it's about your movement and your positioning and keeping with the rhythm of the jumping and stuff, and it becomes almost like a rhythm game in that respect. Like, there's a lot of cool ideas there. But, again, this is before From Software figured out how platforming's supposed to work. I can't speak to Sekiro, Tyrone. So I have no idea how Sekiro's boss fights would compare, in terms of the non-traditional stuff with the rhythm game counter system. Alright. There we go. I am really liking these angles, chat. We're getting some really good luck with our foliage. Bet of Chaos's peak? Of course you would say that, I am. Go back to your DS till. They should also bring level drain back, and I'm not joking. I unironically agree with you. I think it would be cool if we had more mechanics that interact with our character stats than what we have right now. A lot of people talk about the polish, and I agree. I think Elden Ring and Dark Souls 3 are both incredibly polished experiences, and I love them both. But, I do think From Software should go back to experimenting with mechanics and try to have stuff that's unpolished, because that's what adds the character that makes a lot of the games memorable. The problem with FromSoft is oftentimes they will drop perfectly good ideas and mechanics rather than iterate upon them. They have this terrible idea where if something doesn't work, that they'll just drop it, which again can be good in some cases, right? Because sometimes something's unsalvageable or it's just not worth it for the experience you're trying to create. But I think it's also created a terrible bias where they are so obsessed now with trying to fine-tune fights to be, oh, the next super tough, good Dark Souls boss fight, right? Like, they've become that type of company in both their minds and the minds of their audience. And they're sort of feeding into that cycle without ever, like, exploring other avenues of an RPG outside boss fights and combat. And it's a bit of a shame. Like, Covenants don't really exist in this game, right? They were one of the favorite parts about the Dark Souls games. For the online stuff especially. Obviously, PvP has been watered down in this game. It is not received as warmly as in past titles. Can we talk about the, can we take the time to talk about peak gaming and Half-Light? Again, I always like the you are the boss type of concepts. I think that's a cool idea. But, Half-Light, like, actually as Half-Light, it's cool, but it's a very simple fight, right? Because it's not a player's AI, so it's never going to be as good. Still, yeah, I like it. Just put level drain, but do it like Wizardry, where if your vitality runs below a certain number, you die voltage forever. Yeah, I don't think permadeath. Like, permadeath's something that they cut from Demon Souls, and they've never really revisited the idea. I think that's probably for the best because, like, it just doesn't work in the type of game. Like, we're not, like, FromSoft RPGs aren't sim games, so it doesn't really work. And the effort to make it work would just not be worth it compared to everything else they can do. But there's definitely tons of great ideas they put on the cutting room floor. Like vaulting. I don't see why we can't have vaulting in these games. The problem with vaulting was that Demon Souls wasn't designed with vaulting in mind enough. So you ended up having a lot of instances of the game where you just wouldn't vault. So most players forgot it was even a thing. Like, the remake did a good job of at least forcing you to vault to continue with the tutorial, which was something, if I recall correctly, was removed from the tutorial of the game. And I'll be honest, if they were thinking, like, oh, our QA testers are struggling to figure out how and where to vault, then holy hell, get some better QA testers. Like, Jesus Christ. There we go. Permadeath really only works in games built around it, exactly. It's just such a fundamental facet that it's either a completely useless mechanic, it's dead, like what was the point of even including it, or it's a completely frustrating mechanic that you have to build everything around it, so that way it's conducive to the experience. You want to make the Bed of Chaos a fun boss fight within the game's mechanics? Remove all of its attacks, just let the floor and boss do his fire magic? I assume you mean the physical attacks with the tree body. I think the fight's too simple then. Again, I think what makes the fight interesting is if you add a Elden Ring style jump, so that way you can jump over the swings. Because again, they're very rhythmic and they happen constantly. But instead of you, the player, trying to roll over it, because your hitbox is inevitably going to get caught on the arm, and it's going to be dragged down into some hole or whatever that suddenly opened up where you were not expecting, right? Like, there's so many problems with using the roll mechanic as is, or the actual, like, old style jump that they had, right? Because the old style jump was just so, you know... I liked the idea, but it's definitely a lot easier to just use L3 in Dark Souls 3, right? Or did Dark Souls 2 add that as well? I can't remember anymore. Anyway, but then compared to say a actual jump mechanic where your entire lower half has no hitbox period, so there's not even risk of you accidentally getting caught in it. Being able to jump over the arms while being decided, okay, do I jump in place or do I jump forward? Oh no, there may be a hole that opens up in front of me if I jump forward, so I have to jump in place, but then I can only move a little bit before I can go. So it sort of has you dictating the pace and means with which you do so, and that's what creates an interesting and engaging puzzle boss fight, right? That's where the game could very easily be modified, and it wouldn't really change too much with the rest of the design. You'd probably have to add more kill boxes and stuff, because you could probably jump over ledges and things that you couldn't with the old style jump. But like, they should be doing that anyway, because there really should be no place that you can jump down to that wouldn't kill you if you're not supposed to be there. Like, there's the old forcing your way into the Capra Demon's boss fight early without, like, that's obviously an exploit. They should obviously make that a kill box if you're trying to get to Lower Undead Burg. Or at the very least make it where you can go down there, but you'll instantly die from the fall damage or something, right? Unless you're, like, super max level, high vitality with, like, you know, the cat ring or something like that. Then maybe, sure, that could be, like, a New Game Plus strat. I feel like I have a shot like this already, but I want to get another one just in case. Just making sure. Alright. So what's the tree and fire creature if the bug is the Bed of Chaos? It's an avatar extension. So if the bug is Izalith herself, the witch, the avatar at the center in the throne is basically like her extension of the body from the roots around it, right? So you can think of the actual bug as sort of like the true body core, from which everything else is stemming. And then the two staves on either end are the other two daughters, which were also amalgamated into the Bed of Chaos entity as part of the witch and them being consumed by the fire. So again, when you see the opening cinematic, there's the witch surrounded by her daughters in a circle, and they're doing their ritual stuff, and as you can see, the daughters closest to her are holding up their staves. So the idea is, when Quelana says, again, this is talking about the Japanese script, that her mother and her younger sisters were consumed by the fire and turned into a seedbed of grotesque life, they are talking about, she's talking about those two daughters along with, again, the witch, her mother. And so when Mama Izalith is being protected by the two staves, that's the two daughters using their, you know, witch magic chaos stuff in order to create a barrier preventing us from accessing their mother at the heart of the Bed of Chaos. That is the narrative that the fight is supposed to be conveying to you, as you hopefully will be able to divine while being endlessly frustrated by the terribleness of the actual fight. Clearly. Why is Naked Man zooming around the lands between taking pictures? Because, Sneed, we need to stall. We have a few more months until the DLC is out, so I need to keep on finding more excuses for why I'm not just beating this game already. Besides memes. But we all know it's actually because of memes. We all know it's really just because of the memes. Well, at least I have tons of evidence now of the village, or that was once here, being, well, swept away. There we are. Mama Isleth's a better name than the witch. Mama Isleth! Mama Isleth! I mean, that's basically what Koilana calls her in the JP script. My mother, Isleth. Good old Kasan. Naked Man is a Kingsfield 3 fan. I like this area really much for some reason. I do too. Again, again, Liurnia and Lingdale would be my favorite areas, I think, in the game. It's hard to figure out which one I would choose if I had to pick between them. Apparently, if there wasn't a kill box, you could survive falling from the Gargoyle boss arena in Dark Souls 1. Oh yeah, 100%. You 100% could do that. That is so obvious just looking at the actual height and other places you can survive when you drop down. Like, yeah. It's always funny to me seeing how the game instantly kills you when you escape the Gargoyle's boss arena by falling. It's like, oh no. Oh no, a perfectly survivable fall. Instant death. Do I have a shot of this? I actually don't remember. Is it always, I can't remember, Chad. Is it always foggy when you get this close? I don't think so. I don't think it's supposed to be like that, Mr. Krabs. What about, Limondale? Isn't it the best one? What the hell is a Limondale, Iron Man? I remember watching someone fighting Cecil and the instant character's body fell from the edge. Wonder how that happened. Oh gosh. God, there are even more blood roses here than I remember, chat. I'm cheating. I am cheating. This shouldn't be possible. Listen, just a giant tree missing from here, chat. Pay it no mind. Trees were a mistake anyway. Blighttown does have awkward kill boxes. I actually don't remember falling too much in Blighttown anymore. It's been like so long since I first played DS1. I do not remember what my experience falling there was like to comment. I don't like Graves, so I renamed it using Game's naming pattern. Oh, I see. Oh, look, you could just see the golden tendrils on the Erdtree and a normal colored branch just from backing up and looking up from Erdtree Gazing Hill. Sounds good. I'll be sure to do that. Alright, I have zero faith that we can actually get anything out of this. But you know, I've been wrong before. Stop minimizing! Need to see! Oh. Literally right after midday, it starts having some light. That's actually funny. I was literally like right before the darkness falls. Let's do this. Stop minimizing. It minimizes every time I tab out of the game while I'm waiting for it to go, but I'm not gonna wait. Oh. Frustrating. Absolutely frustrating. Excuse me? There we go. Game? Are you having a seizure? There we go. Oh god. PC's having a seizure, chat. I thought the game crashed. That's what I thought too for a second. Maybe it's the higher LOD. Let's take that off right now. Oh god, no. Everything's lagging. Alright, chat. We gotta do a very quick check. What's it looking like on my local disk? Yep, that's, I have 105 gigabytes free. Out of an entire terabyte. Oh, boy. Let's go to screenshots. Let's get rid of the thumbnails. There we go. It's so long since you last played DS1. Yeah, you left the lore playthrough halfway. Hey, Sneed! I'm getting back to it. We're all the way in Ulasil. I only need like 1 or 2 episodes left and we'll finish the whole game. Honestly, it really depends on how long it takes me to defeat Artorias, Manus, and Calamite. If I can do them all in 1 episode, we might also do Gwyn. If not, it'll just be 2 more. But yeah, I want to get another episode done this week and maybe another one done either end of this month or next month. Stream is lagging for me also. It's YouTube receiving a video, so we might have to end here. If it's just my PC, just not cutting it at the moment. Good way to check that. Let's look at performance. Oh, yeah, it's having major performance issues right now. I'm still waiting for the DS2 lore play. LOL. You only need 1 or 2 episodes to beat Elden Ring too. Yeah, but that one I'm trying to avoid doing. Yeah, I don't know what's going on right now. We're gonna restart the game chat just in case. See if that's the source of the issue. There we go. There we go. Have you bested Gwyn without parrying and just evading his attacks and baiting? I mean, I've never used the parry up until, like, the lore play, as anyone who's watched me know. It took me until going back to Anor Londo, I was like, you know what, I'll try this parry thing. So waiting for you to finish the TS1 lore play. Yeah, guys, I know. It's taking a lot longer than I thought it would for me to take that, but yeah, my commitment to doing like 4 to 5 hour long streams at midday my time, has a very hard schedule to keep to with the way that I do things, so definitely was not the wisest thing. In the future, any lore plays I do, I will try to keep them down to 2 to 3 hours at most. And I'll make sure that I'm willing to stream them at any time. Because, again, I wanted to do it at midday, so that way the most amount of people I felt could watch me. But I'm now realizing that so many people around the world watch me that, like, you guys can always catch the stream later if necessary. And you guys would probably be more than happy to watch it at any hour as long as it was more frequent. So, that's what I plan to do in the future. Let's now restart this. And hopefully that'll solve our problem. He's been trying harder to not beat Elden Ring as he has been trying to beat DS1. Alright, guys. Let's see if this fixes it. Alright. Yep, I think we're good. Wait. Did you guys actually see the game? Oh, I'm not live, that's why. I was like, wait, why is it a black screen for me? Okay, good. Alright, now we're good. Okay, I'm gonna minimize this now. If Tarnish keep getting back alive, what prevents Lautrec murdering Anastasia again after we resurrect her? I mean, Chosen. Oh, if Chosen Undead keep getting back alive, what prevents Lautrec murdering Anastasia again after we resurrect her? Undead, not Tarnished, lol. Lautrec we kill, Lautrec we kill not as a spirit, but as his body, so, assuming he doesn't hollow, sure, he could go back, but again, the reason why he kills Anastasia isn't out of any, like, personal, like, oh, I gotta get her. It's because, she has a soul, and he's not planning on going back to the, to Firelink Shrine, so, like, he's already gotten all he can out of her as a Firekeeper, so let's just take the soul and we'll have tons of humanity for myself for the future as needed. That's the reasoning. So, like, whether or not, like, even assuming Lautrec isn't dead, when we get back Anastasia's soul and resurrect her, he's not gonna be out of, like, unless it's, like, out of spite, like, maybe he'll have some personal vendetta, be like, I'm gonna kill her again just to do so, right? Like, there's no reason for him to. For Lautrec, it was purely a means of, pragmatism. Like, I'm not coming back here. I don't need here. Like, sure, I can fuck other people over by killing her and using that soul, but I don't care about other people. So, like, why not? That's the motive. Now Loki needs to, remake Soup. That's starting to make lore videos he promised 8 years ago. Yeah, I need to... It's super hard to do all the long-form analysis content I do, and then have that also scripted for videos and stuff. Because the way I have to do it all visually and stuff, so it's not just me narrating over my content for, like, 10 hours straight in one vid. And the problem with doing that is that that's a monumental work on par with making the analysis in the first place, which would just double my workload. So it's not been practical. And I have a bunch of videos for reactions and stuff in the background, but I have to edit those. And again, that takes time. I've been thinking of maybe outsourcing an editor for that stuff. So that just means hopefully making enough book money so that way I can justify it on my my budget. Yeah, no. Yeah, nothing here. We got the one there. I think we got enough shots of the stuff here, but just to be... Oh my god. You know what? I'm not dealing with Liurnia weather. To Lindell! But yeah, I do want to do more regular video content on top of the streams. Streams are mostly just When I'm not doing it for work, I'm doing it so that way I can take a break from work. But I do want to have more videos out for you guys. I know how to work with YouTube, at least, when I did that first video with Melania fan dubbing, so... That's cool. Alright, so... So we have 2 flowers coming out of a Horn of Plenty. Not crazy. And 2 very vague images of, like, baby/cherubim. Yeah, I think this is just to reflect, I think it's just to reflect Lingdell's era, honestly. Liurnia, whether my favorite? It's my favorite when I'm not trying to take shots. Yep, off to visit the pagans! It's the same thing here, right? Yeah. Very clearly. Baby forms. And, Xavier, you said that you saw this in Erdtree Sanctuary too, so we'll just hop on over to there. Though I like how Lautrec acknowledges you have fought it multiple times if you don't succeed on first. Yeah, I do enjoy that more when the game, because it doesn't happen too often with these games. A lot of times these games kind of assume you're like the hero who kind of just wins the fight. They just kind of forget that you, again, like Miyazaki creates all, like, this mechanic, undead mechanic, right? And it's supposed to be kind of a pseudo-lore justification for you dying and being able to retry and stuff like that, right? And you kind of have it integrated with how some characters will acknowledge that you're hollow status or whatever, but it really doesn't go further than that, right? Like, so many boss fights, the game just will reset things or assume, like, it's just obvious that the game is just sort of assuming that we go back in time and sort of retry things as if you're lost and it happened, rather than actually affected. So it creates this weird dissonance with, it's like, okay, I'm hollowed, so it acknowledges that I died in that sense of the mechanics, but the other sense of mechanics doesn't. So when it does happen with, like, Lautrec, where it actually acknowledges all your defeats, I think that's really cool. Okay, so it's not there. Holy Grease. Might include mention of that in the future, so... again, we'll see. Gotta remember that Holy Grease is on that guy. Homeless Misbegotten's my fave. Listen, sometimes when your city starts burning, you gotta start making some tough decisions. Like prioritizing who's gonna get their homes fixed up from all the fire. And you know, sometimes those filthy non-believers just kinda got a deal, you know? Yeah, those are the same babies, that's for sure. I'm not seeing that Horn of Plenty, though. Then you got the Dark Souls 3 Cathedral of the Deep asset being reused here. So it's just the babies, Xavier? They don't have the Horn of Plenty thing going? Because if so, I think the combination of babies plus Hordes of Plenty tells us it's early, we're talking about probably dating back to the Age of Plenty. With Marika establishing, obviously, the golden lineage with all the childbirthing. But also her, just her age in general of abundance. Okay, more generic stuff. Let's get a shot of the babies before I forget. So I can do a more direct comparison. Boom. Did Vike ever pierce Lansax with his Spear of Dragon Slaying, if you know what I mean? I have no idea. I have not paid attention much to Lansax and Vike's clandestine relationship. Have not given it the thought it probably is due. Okay, I want to double check to see if the... We have statues down here, and I want to see if they have any of these iconography. Chad, am I crazy? Alright, Chad, I'm going to take the shot here, and then we're going to go to Farm Azul after this, because I feel like I'm taking crazy pills now. I probably am, but... need to make sure. Aw, yeah. Unfortunately, I am too much of a BK simp to be focusing on what's going on with the dragon fuckers. Yeah, no, it's just the Golden Lineage Sarash icon. The Beast Crest! Then we got the typical yellow stuff. Oh, you know what? I gotta edit Age of Plenty so that way the green text isn't there anymore. Oh, whoops. Forgot to do that. Check the lever while you're at it? Sure. Where's the hot lane sex fight, Smut Loki? Where is it? I don't know. I don't know. There we go. Fancy lever. So they do have a unique lever. I now want to compare all the levers used in this entire dungeon. Because now we know they 100% have a option to use a alternate lever if they could. There's not one here, right? No. Wouldn't it hurt though to check to see if maybe there's some iconography on like the small details I'm missing? Thank God I really love that that Akron and Black Swan dance trailer, because having this OST in the background has been so soothing. See some Beast Lion imagery, but that's about it. That's worth getting a shot of, I think. I think this is close enough, chat, that people will be able to tell what it is. Yeah, it's not the Erdtree level used at Stormvale, which I think is used at the wooden elevator at the entrance. Yeah, I have to double check that now. I want to get a shot of all the... Wait. Okay, no, this is part of the Browns. I was about to say... I was like, are you telling me the Erdtree is brown at its base, and I haven't noticed until now? No, it's part of that section. Generic plant imagery. More generic plant imagery, and whatever that is. Okay, I don't think we got anything else here, so I think this section is solid. Okay, yeah, it's just the Elden Throne. We don't care about that. Let's go down here. Poor Morgott. Why poor Morgott? He's getting a nice long rest on the floor right now. I think he's having a well-deserved break from managing this shit storm of a realm. Yeah, nothing here. Hiya, Margie. Okay, nothing standing out to me. We have these statues here, but I don't think they have any... Yeah, they don't have any bases worth looking at. Morgoth's my fave character in this game, and he deserved better. I like him a lot, too. I think my favorite part, like, one of my favorite parts of the Godric thesis I did was being able to talk about Morgott in it. Because I think a lot of people underappreciate just sort of the lengths Morgott goes to just try to keep things together. I just think the way his character plays off of Godric and Godefroy were just really cool and very telling about him as a person. You should look above you after this doorway, like up above from there. Okay, let's see. I think this might be Cathedral of the Deep assets. I can't remember now. This, though, nothing really special besides using the flower imagery. Alright, so nothing here, chat, that's worth looking at. Let's do here. We'll do the full tour. Yeah, he's trying to keep together a system that hates him, too. Yeah, Yeah, there's something very noble, definitely. I can definitely see why Miyazaki talked about how he really wanted to have these it was really showcasing these characters as like heroes in their prime versus what we usually get with FromSoft's people. Like, you can really kind of see the nobility in character to Morgoth through all the rage and what's the word? Resentment that he exudes. And you can appreciate that, I think. Yeah, so we have a more plain tree lever used here. Look, you check the church with the crucible near the east ramparts, I think. I'm not sure, but I think there's a lion crest there. I think I already have shots of that one. But if you want me to look over there for you, sure. I don't mind. Yeah. Ooh, let me double check the lever, because there's going to be another one here, right? Wait, is that different? No, it's just lit differently. Okay, it's the same lever. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, just the... Yeah, most of these are just Beast Crest and stuff, right? So, I definitely think Xavier's right. The Pagan District is doing something different. And again, it makes sense, because again, we have to keep in mind that the Pagan District is allowing people like the Misbegotten to exist there, right? So it's makes sense in the context of the Age of Plenty, Abundance, the Crucible, that they would use that imagery in association with their own little corridor of the city. So, actually works out quite nicely from a cultural perspective. Ooh. There it is! Found it! I was like, there's no way it was just used there. I like that. I like that a lot, chat. We're gonna do this now. Oh my god. Why? Like, come on, game. Okay, we're gonna go over here first. Like, why you gotta be like that? There we go. I swear, chat. I swear. Alright, chat, we're gonna now turn on the higher LOD. Yeah, higher LOD here. I'm gonna have to add this to my analysis about Langdale being built up during this period. Yeah, I didn't even pay attention to the horn stuff, and that's exactly why we do these looks myself, so that way if there's anything that you miss or something additional maybe that I'm not getting, I'll be able to see it, and we can do this together. Isn't this such a great thing about streaming? I love it so much, chat. You guys have been such a wonderful help throughout this entire process in the past year or so. Alright, there we go. I don't even feel like changing the lighting. I think it's pretty good as is, honestly. Anyway, I wanted to go back this way. So first... I want to make sure there isn't anything, like, on these outer walls or something. Again, they're using this tree one. I like chatting with you, Loki. Well, thanks. I like chatting with you guys, too. It's just fun to nerd out about a cool game. Yeah, for sure. Oh, you know what? This one's even better. Or it should be? How is it that I have more lighting here than anywhere else and I can see less of the details? That's actually kind of impressive in its own way. Alright, we're gonna do something really stupid, chat. Yeah. Boom! I cheated. Honestly, I could probably put it a little closer. Well, chat, I hope I can craft these. I can craft exactly 2 of them. Okay, where's the mod that gives me infinite glowstones? When's that gonna be a thing, chat? I'm gonna unpause the game, let the glowstones run out, chat, and then take another shot, and then I'm gonna try to edit them together to make sure that we have a slightly less exposed image if I don't like it. So would these be Banished Night Lovers since they also get used at Stormveil? Not necessarily, because at Stormveil, it was designed as a penal colony for the Erdtree Kingdom and would later be taken over and heavily renovated by said Erdtree Kingdom, so you could always argue that they were part of the renovations. Also, don't know if you already have, but you could take some shots of the perfumers treating and checking the sick or some of the interiors who are fitted with perfumer plants, balls, etc. Yes, I'm aware, Raijin. I'm not doing so because I am not focusing on perfumers right now, and I have absolutely zero interest in working on them at the moment. When I get to Radagon's Reign, I will be talking about perfumers, gargoyles. Like, there's going to be so much content for me to add, but that is a long ways off at this point. I have lots of stuff about astrologers I want to talk about. I have stuff about the Fringe Folk rebellions down south, concerning Godfrey's final third of his reign and his campaigning down there. Like, there is a lot that I am trying to work on here, so... Elden Ring's a big game. And I kind of want to go back to Dark Souls 3 and 2. I know, crazy thing. I'm even willing to go back to writing for Dark Souls 2. I really need to get Ilium Lois done this year. I took my year-long break last year, so... I don't want to take another year break because of Elden Ring. Oh, yeah, Higher LOD's gone, still good. Alright. Even better. There we go. I love it. I love it! Beautiful. Oh! They're using these, this chair here. That's actually unexpected. Huh. That might be significant. Yeah, I'm not too surprised because we have to keep in mind, in earlier versions of the game, there were banished knights left to guard this entire city instead of the Lanedale guards and soldiers. They changed that later on during development, so... I'm not too surprised if there's a few artifacts of that here, but for the sake of the lore analysis, I need to, at the very least, have this documented. We'll go down here. Oh, the chair also has the pregnant ladies on it? Which chair are we talking about here, Xavier? The one I was just looking at? Because that wasn't the pregnant... At least I didn't see it. Oh, maybe at the top you're talking about here? That's why we have cameras. It's really hard because it's pixelated, but it might be. I have to compare the image, but my focus is always on the bird, because that's where it's used in context of fortified manor, etc. But I will take a shot of this, too. How can Morgoth be king if Marika/Radagon is still sort of alive, or did Greater Will force them to step down? Marika is de facto deposed and, essentially... Yeah, Marika's essentially deposed, for all intents and purposes. The entire point of the whole battle by the demigods is to decide who's going to marry their mother and become her new consort, quote unquote, right? But she's just going to be imprisoned the entire time as a vessel of the Elden Ring as punishment for her defiance to the greater will and, you know, shattering the Elden Ring in the first place. And then, after that, it's just basically going to be left to the Elden Lord to make all the decisions. Yeah, I recognize that even if it's blurry. Okay, so we got that looked up. We got some torches. We're good. We're good. Oh, nope, we're not good. We're not good. We're not good at all. Wait, what the hell? Oh, it's just bloody hay. That is hay, right? I forgot what's in that chest, and I don't care enough to double check. Yeah, we know how we get back here. Then we go through the normal way you're supposed to get into this district, right? Oh, never mind. Then we go this way, that way, and this way, and that way, and oh, over there. Boop, 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 boop. Again, how cool would it be if we had some climbing mechanics based on the Vault stuff from Demon Souls? Just saying. Would be pretty neat if they kind of incorporated that into the jump mechanics. Maybe you can jump and press triangle or something, and then you'd be able to do a quick climb animation or something. I don't know. Just saying, FromSoft. You had a really cool idea with vaulting. Just need to put it in more areas so it was more consistently used. Instead, you decide to just level design it around walking. Nothing I see interesting here that I really need to get a shot of that I haven't gotten a shot of before. So I keep Marika around to give legitimacy to the rule. I think just so, it's a punishment point. It's like, okay, you want to be the Eternal Queen? Very well, I shall make you the Eternal Queen. But now, because you've decided that you are going to completely defy my will and everything that's been going on, then I am going to now keep you in prison. So you will eternally be a puppet queen who does nothing but serves as a vessel for my ring. While my true chosen, the Elden Lord, will now be calling the shots. And you will be able to do nothing about it, dear Marika. That seems to be the Greater Will's goal, from as far as I can tell. Yeah, it seems the entire Imperium thing was purely in the case of replacing Marika with a new god, but that sort of went out the window once Marika went cray-cray after Godwyn's death. And, well, to be fair, it's not just Godwyn. All her children's deaths, right, from the Night of the Black Knives. Once all those demigods dropped dead, she kind of just went a little over the edge and ultimately decided to say, fuck it all, I'm just gonna spite everybody and break this thing. And again, Marika is quite the power-obsessive person, so the fact that this was something so serious, she was basically willing to do something as stupid that would obviously jeopardize her position of power, I think says a lot about her as a character. Yeah, nothing else I really care about here. What demigods could become the vessel for the Elden Ring if the Shattering didn't happen? We had Miquella, Ranni, and, not Malenia. It was Miquella, Ranni, and... God, who was the third one? There's a third one. Was it Malenia? Was Malenia the one who was chosen as the Empyrean as well? No. No, I'm going crazy, chat. It was someone else, right? God. I'm not up to date on my lore! Maybe it was Malenia, and I'm just confusing myself for no reason, because I can't remember other female demigods. But either way, yeah, it was supposed to be, those peeps, and then thing kind of got screwed up. I think it was Malenia? Yeah, it must have been Malenia. So I'm like, I know it's two women and then Miquella, but I couldn't remember if, I don't think it's ever mentioned. Malenia's the one that has, like, the least connection to the whole Empyrean thing, right? So I think maybe it was just because she was the twin. Yeah, they were both born to a single god. Yeah. Okay, good. Thanks for the reminder, Xavier. Yeah, because she's the one who shows absolutely zero interest ever in the potential of becoming the new god. Miquella, at least you can see, probably had an interest, considering now he's trying to become a god of a new Haley tree and all that stuff, right? Like, he's clearly trying to kind of carve his own path into godhood. But, Ronnie obviously rejected hers completely. Melania, I guess, is just such a simp for her bro. She wouldn't even think of becoming a god herself, maybe. They had 100% god genes. Greater Will's like, they have the perfect makings to be the new god. Absolutely zero human in that blood. Yeah, Melania. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, guys, when I'm having a senior moment. Listen, we all have to have our moments where we're Joe Biden, okay? Definitely a similar image to what we've got here, Xavier, that's for sure. I'm not sure if it's the exact same, but I'll be able to compare the pixels to see. It's definitely similar. Uh-huh. I don't expect to see much of that imagery here. Yeah, even the pedestals are different. I didn't even realize. They use very unconventional pedestals for these saint statues. You can't even really make out much of the... Yeah, compared to this, right? They use the more generic... Like, this is something that you see used everywhere, right? Like, everyone's using that stuff, right? Let's see... Kind of weird that the Erdtree avatar can be infected with Scarlet Rot. Well, I mean, if the Erdtree itself is infected with Scarlet Rot, then it makes sense that the avatar born from it might also have Scarlet Rot. It is ultimately a, it is an avatar, after all. It is a derivative from the tree. Born of its womb in the same way that a woman came from Adam's rib, right? I still always find it funny how they just, like, shrunk down a coffin and they were like, yep, we're just gonna put this little coffin box here for no reason. Yeah, it's the same image, but sideways. Yeah, there's the ones that are right side up in the sanctuary and stuff, but I'm too lazy to go back there. And then we've got this. We've talked about this stuff before. Yeah, so the fire blazes seem to be the, Wait. Okay, no, these are used elsewhere. I have to say, did they, like, change the architecture of the inside of this room so it would be more like Leyndell for America? But no, it's fine. It's normal. Any idea how Miquella can be an Empyrean while he's male? Never heard an explanation on that. He only looks like a female. Is it because he's Melania's twin? In a meta sense, I assume it's just because he's a femboy. So the joke is kind of like he's very effeminate, so they're going to do so. From a lore reason, I'm not sure. It's never stated expressly that the god has to be female, and thus the Empyrean must be female. Whether or not the feminine nature is somehow a criteria with which the Greater Will uses to decide who becomes the god, I don't know. You could argue there is a pattern, but it could also just be an incredible coincidence. So, I don't know. I'd have to think on that. It depends on how important the childbearing aspect is that we see in both confirmed gods. Because if that is sort of like an essential role that is expected of the god of the Elden Ring, then Miquella would be kind of weird. Otherwise, it would just be kind of funny that he gets picked among all the ladies. 100% god genes? Yeah, that definitely plays a role too. We have to keep in mind that that is the reason given in the item descriptions. Is that him and Melania being born to a single god. played a role in the reason for them being Empyrean. But you could also argue that's merely in the case of they're fitting for the role of Empyrean. It wasn't actually the Greater Will's reason for deciding it, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. Maybe Mpreg is canon in Elden Ring. I mean, technically, from a certain point of view, Radagon does know... Well, yeah, from a certain point of view, Radagon has gotten pregnant. I mean, it's not wrong. He does know about the experience of childbirth. No praise, like, what? Hi-oh, welcome to the chat. You picked the perfect time to join in. Nobody's like, why did I come in here? I should have not done it. Why was I so curious? Oh, look at that, champ. We found it. We found another one of these levers. Let's check over here. I know the lever's different. I just kind of want to see how different. Don't see anything else worth pointing out here. Ooh, wait, there's a side lever up there, so let's do that. Yeah, we're gonna check Farm Azula too, don't worry. I'm 100% gonna do that. Okay, so this. There we go. I could have swore that somewhere in game it say the Empyrean has to be female. As far as I recall, no, it isn't. So, again, I think it's just a matter of there's an obvious pattern of all of them are women except for the boy who looks like a lady. So, again, whether that's a meta thing or there is an actual in-lore influence there, maybe we're going to learn that Miquella was actually supposed to be born a woman, but like due to reasons because of the Forever You thing or something, somehow his gender got fucked up in the birthing process. I don't know. But, again, that would be a deep lore question that I cannot... I'm not equipped to answer at this time. Equipped. Talking about. Oh, I'm gonna end that train of thought while I have. I might be mistaken, but that one reminds me of recolored Nox lever. It didn't strike me as Nox, but I have to double check. Yeah, I feel like the lever's a little different than the Nox. I think the design's not quite that, but I may be wrong. Lower there, Capital, Langdell Catacombs, the Erdtree Sanctuary. I don't think there's any other levers we can check besides over here. Elden Throne. Okay, yeah, let's do the... Actually, no, let's do Farm Azula first, because I can go back to the Stargazing Hill to look at the... Never mind, we're going to do the Erdtree Gazing Hill. Alright, so where do you want me to step back, Xavier, to get a good look at this stuff? Like, how far are we going? Maybe Miquella Bro St. Trina form makes him actually female? Well, I mean, that's the assumption, given that, everyone talks about how, Trina's a lady. Now, granted, that's also reference to also being a beautiful boy, but that could just be in reference to the fact that obviously Miquella's the true identity of Trina. And they're just kind of, they're sort of poking, at that. Maybe Social Woman was cursed to be a guy, like a plot to certain manga I read recently. Again, that's totally possible. Again, we're never expressly told that the Empyrean have to be a woman. We just have a pattern to look at. So, how relevant that pattern is a question. It might just be the floral decorations. Really? I guess I tricked myself. That's fine. That happens a lot in Nicolino. a lot of times we'll have false memories of things that aren't actually true. That's why we have to validate, and why I ultimately write everything down, so that way if I ever forget something, at least you have writing of past Loki to remember for you. I like... Guys! It's totally a spirit tree, see? It's see-through. But now it's not. Oh no, they're trying to hide the truth, chat. And they're trying to hide the truth! Loki bro, answer me this. If Raditz and Preg and baby pop out from where? The hole or the dong? Obviously the hole. I mean, I assume that's how it works with Marika. Mikola born as a girl, but Renala cursed him to live as a boy because she was angry Wicked Witch of the West. actually just the Gwendolyn scenario. Turns out that Gwendolyn actually is a girl the whole time. Honestly, that would make a lot of sense considering his name is a woman's name. At least the way it's rendered in Japanese. It's rendered the same way as Michaela would, so. Or Michaela, I think. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it in English, but... Trifinger butthole? Soraya poops out the baby? Ew, no! Marika would never just shit out a kid. Well, I mean, you know what? That's a terrible choice of words. From mouth. It's reverse vor. Is this a shot you want, Xavier? Would this be good, or... I'm going to turn on the higher LOD so we don't have the see-through tree distracting us. I'm actually going to take 2 shots because I noticed that yeah, it's doing the tall one too, so we have to combine that. There we go. She definitely would, Loki. Yeah, I caught myself. I can send the picture I got to show you how you can see the stuff from the ground. I don't know how to describe it. Well, what exactly would be describing here? That's what I'm trying to... That is what I question. Like, you told me to just back up from the hill, so, like, where am I backing up? Am I, like, just looking here? Oh, I see. I see what you're talking about here. I see it now. Like this. You're talking about these up here. There we go. Ozma is the daughter of the former King Pastoria of Oz. As an infant, she was given to the witch Mombi of the North by the Wizard of Oz. Mombi transformed Ozma into a boy and called him Tip. Oh, cool. Wizard of Oz lore. Yeah. You also see the tendrils, too. Yeah, 100%. Oh, we're going to do this now. There we go. Like, I might get too close, it shows up. I love this game sometimes. We're getting to Foggy Zone, yeah. That ain't working. If not Nala, then Ronnie could do something similar. I don't think Ronnie would, you know, I can't say that. Ronnie might be old enough to be able to pull something like that off. But yep, this is all good, chat. The funny part is, chat, this is me using the fast version, and this is how long it takes to get around the the Erd tree. There we go. Nope. There we go. Oh, it happens even if I zoom in that way, huh? Okay. If that's the case, that doesn't matter. Let's just go right in. Ooh. Excuse me, Mr. Golden Leaf. Excuse me, Mrs. Branch. Damn. I cannot find an angle which can obscure the giant, extensive trunk sticking out the top of the tree. For honestly no reason. You could probably mod it so this thing is always invisible no matter how close you are. Wouldn't affect anything. Yeah, it's kind of obnoxious that this thing is here. You post the broken branch where you kill Malekith. That's fine. Like I said, we'll do a comparison before and after of the tree to see if anything actually changes with it. Anyway. Let's see. Let's do it from Wyndham, actually. But what are we trying to find here? We're looking at the normal branches at the top of the Erd tree. That is what we're focusing on. I think we could go even higher, honestly, and get a better look at it. Let's try from here. There, I posted photos. Coolio. You tried Arch Thrones or DS5? I have not played Arch Thrones. I generally don't do mods for FromSoft games. I've never really been interested in them. But because of my unique relationship with Arch Thrones, I am tempted to at least try it out when the finished version is done. I have most certainly thought about it. Yeah, that is weird. This honestly feels like a mistake, chat. Like, this shouldn't be here, but they have it here anyway. Very weird. Yeah, and much like the fading, it feels like it's one of those things that they don't notice because the Erd tree's like so big and stuff, and you're like, is the Erd tree there? Yep, looks like it's fine. And they don't be like, oh, you know, it kind of looks a little see-through at the base. Why did the Murray family build their castle on a poison swamp? Were they stupid? They didn't build on a poison swamp. The most recent head of the Murray family decided he was going to become a Melania simp and started becoming obsessed with poisons and rots and stuff and brought it all inside. Reminder, chat. Women. They ruin a man's life. Oh, what a freak. It'll be done in early 22-28. Yes, yes. Finally. Just in time for World War III. Can I get higher? Well, farther. I don't think so when it comes to Volcano Manor, unfortunately. Let's try from Craftsman Shack, though. That sweet, sweet Rotussi. Yeah, there we go. Like I said, if I do this, yeah, it still appears. So I can't even use the field of view to get around this. World War III already on. I guess in some respects you could say we're already there. Maybe Farm Azula or the mountaintops. Ooh, Farm Azula might be a good option. Yeah, let's switch characters because I want to check there anyway, right? So. Yeah, okay, we're gonna put myself here. I only have one glowstone. Oh, no, that's not what I want. Oh my god, Chad, I've been playing the game for 410 hours on one character. Also, I hit continue like an idiot. 410 hours! Oh my god! I can't believe I'm such an addicted video game player. There we go. Would you say all Scarlet Rot related stuff is a divine blessing mortal body can't handle? From a certain point of view, sure, yeah. You can definitely conceptualize it that way. I'm sure that's how the Kindred of Rot might see it. A blessing that most simply cannot handle or accept. I have 1,500. You don't have a camera. That's the best part. Man, this is a struggle. Okay, you know what? We're gonna cheat. Came to my mind thanks to Morrowind. Oh yeah, because Morrowind does have that too, yeah. Let's see. Is this it? No. Was it you? Yeah, there we go. Yeah. There's the disease in Morrowind too. Still a bit too foggy for my taste, but, you know. It is what it is. Hello, low poly wyvern. Listen, I just gotta get above the fog, chat. I mean, it works. It's certainly something. Kaylin makes me feel like home in Morrowind. Yeah, see, it doesn't appear here, in this version of the tree at least. They just have this awkward little thing here, but it doesn't just stick out very obviously, so you can kind of get away from it. In fact, I wonder if I put it on the other angle, if I could even see any of it. Nope. It's definitely not textured on the other side. A Dark Souls 3 cut dragon? Is it? I don't think so. Looks like just the standard wyvern you see with Agil and stuff. Yeah, fog is awful here. We'll see if the forge is any different. Maybe. I see Mesmer and Tree, now my eye is on indeed. Yeah, the problem is the stupid atmospheric fog at the top. God damn air pressure. Sure, we'll do Bestial Sanctum, why not? Ugh. Yeah, it's funny looking at, like, Kaylin, you're like, oh my god, look what the rot's done to this poor wildlife, then you're like, oh. No, they're just big. They're just born like that. They're born with those horrid proportions. Oh no! Oh no! Speaking of horrid things. Alright. Don't let me down, Dragon Barrel Cave! You're my favorite! Trimillania Tower works there. Ooh. Yeah, we could try the tower. No, no, no. Oh, it's nighttime. It's not even gonna give me what I want. Chat, we had it so beautiful, where we were able to get this to work. Is it because? Oh, I think it's actually foggy outside. Let's reset this one more time. Loki, favorite church as boss area in Souls game? Irithyll, easily, hands down. Like, I didn't have to think about that one. There we go. I don't remember everything being this overexposed, but okay, whatever you say, game. Sure, if I put on a higher LOD, it'll be different. Much better. I love it how Caelid gives me the best look. Okay, good to know. Gotta remember that trick for other areas on the other account. Like, why the hell do I have something there? Well, it's so important that I placed a marker around here. Where the hell are you? God, I'm being blind again. Oh, right, here. Anyway, back to what I was doing. Farm Azula! You get a shot of the Great Glove Ward area. Ooh, that's right. Do you remember where exactly that was again, Xavier? Because I don't remember. I know I've gotten shots of that spot, but I never took a close enough look at the details, so... Okay, no, it's 100% different design from... Okay. I kept thinking that this design was the same as the one we saw in Lanedale, but no, I'm crazy. Do you think Haida could have possibly tried recreating the OG DS1 Lord Vessel and so made many Soul Vessel items like the Agape Ring and Soul Vessel to try to replicate the OG Lord Vessel? I don't know if they necessarily were trying to replicate the OG Lord Vessel with there, but generally the idea of trying to support the Fire Linking mission on their own, given the Fire is now in their vicinity and they're disconnected from Gwendolyn, sure. I could totally see that being the case. You could definitely make an argument for that. Ismir just Caelad's weather change after you defeat Radahn. Feels like there's much more rain after you defeat him. Could be confirmation bias, though. I have no idea. I haven't noticed it, at least. Grail's Dragon Barrow always has, like, rain and fog and stuff, so... Start of Farm Azula. Okay, so... It's the upper area that the big build, area at the big building at the start of Farm Azula. Okay. So we want to go upstairs. This isn't it. There's not an upper area here, are they? Or is it back here? Oh, there's an upper area here. That's right. Okay, okay, okay. Trying to remember how to get up there again.
Well, would it be a Loki stream? I started with Volcano Manor area the other day, and I was wondering, there was a kingdom or just a city-state or something before Rykar was there, Immortal Circle was worship plus fire magic. They were pagans and stuff, living on the volcano for a long while, yes, and then, along the way, the farm colonies came in, and they basically, struck an alliance with the, pagans there, and they formed what we now know as the Volcano Manor. Oh. It's yellow foliage. Oh. Might just be overexposure from the light, though. I could be crazy. I'm gonna have to ask Zuli about that. Because this stuff looks more green. But this would be consistent with what we've seen with the grasses at the Bestial Sanctum, where random bits of foliage would have the gold of the Elden Ring's influence. It's brown. Is it just brown, the typical brown foliage? Because it looks like the same stuff we see in the Lane Dell and stuff. But again, I'm gonna ask Zuli to be absolutely sure the textures are the same. Because again, it could be just overexposure for me. Man, that really sucks. It's too overexposed. I don't like that. Beige/brown, okay. I'll take your word for it, chat. Did Wormface originate from Farm Azula spread to other places, or did they appear independently in several locations? I think it's I think they've only appeared in 2 locations. That would be Farm Azula and the Woodfolk Ruins, as far as we're aware so far. And I think it has to simply do with people getting infested with Deathblight when they're still alive, instead of being, you know, skeletons. Instead of being skeleton bros. Get a shot of this while we can, of the Bestial Talisman. There we go. Yeah, the Lone Warface and Gelmir confuse me. Think they're more locations. That's just a silver tier. So, again, you have to keep in mind, silver tiers, they take human form until we, quote-unquote, you know, attack them. You know, we have to kill the enemy, but you know what we mean, right? Like, until they are, you know, lethally threatened, then they will transform into a much more dangerous creature that they are familiar with in the area and can copy, and then use that to attack us. Because, obviously, the idea is that everyone who's participated in the battles at Gelmir must have passed through the Woodfolk Ruins area. It is theoretically possible for a silver tier to have ended up being roped in on that battle after having been familiar with what's going on down there, and thus would choose that as its means of dangerous thing with which I can use to combat this threat to me. I really like the vibe of that Wormface Forest. I like it. I wish it wouldn't always be foggy, though. I feel like it'd be cool if you could have normal weather there. Yeah, definitely highlights the importance of the person being buried with Glovewort. I think the main lore significance of this, though, is simply saying that it shows how these gold ornaments and things, these are gifts. These are grave gifts to the deceased. And so you're not necessarily guaranteed to have them. You know, you have to have lots of loved ones and stuff who can afford to give these to you for your afterlife. And it also sort of highlights the importance of the... There we go. It also highlights the importance of the Grave Glovewort to showcase that, yeah, it's also a burial gift. It's not just arising there on its own. That's why we don't see the flower model or anything, right? It's not something we can harvest. It's something that was plucked previously and then gifted to this person along with the other gold gifts. Also, the other graves buried with gold have tree images near the bottom, I think. Oh, I'll check that out in a sec then. Okay. Now we're going to do a quick little oopsie here. Alright. Yeah, I think this is too overexposed. Yeah, I don't like this at all. Yeah, I think this is too much. I might even artificially darken it if I really like this shot so much. But I really think the problem is more so, I don't think there's a way to, quote-unquote, fix this. Thank God we can pause to extend the duration of these glowstones, right? Really makes the impossible possible. There we go. Alright. I don't know how it does it, but the forest feels sort of unreal, like you're not in a normal forest. Well, yeah, the warm faces definitely help with that for sure. You are correct, Xavier. There are some tree imagery here. It's not extensive all the way, but it is in fact there. Can't take it yet. Smithing Stone 6? What a shocker! You're telling me that the place where the Elden Ring was created gold smithing stone? Say it ain't so, chat. Like, what am I supposed to believe anymore? Right? Go with that. Oh my god. Gosh. I hate it when you're like this game. Why you gotta be like this? Why you gotta be like this game? There we go. Not sure I like that shot, but... I'll give him one more run over and then we'll be done. Do you think that the map was made to locate the old ones? If so, was Haida trying to replicate Gwendolyn's fire linking system? I think it was designed to find powerful soul activity in the area. There we go. Alright, I have tons of options now, chat. Very happy with that. Do you think there's any connection between Wormface and Godwyn apart from association with death? No. Again, I think what happens is basically you get some death blight in you, and Miyazaki, again, it's probably it's like the octopus balls. Is it realistic that every octopus in the lands between gets tangled in its own tentacles? No. Was it realistic that every snake in the forest that we encounter got tangled amongst themselves and tied into a knot, basically? No. But the point is to get across the idea that they have all this stuff so much, it's overwhelming that they're all getting tangled up in each other, right? Like, that's the general idea with the snakes, same idea with the octopuses, and probably same idea with the worm faces. Is it realistic that you have this entire thing where everybody has, like, worms coming out of their freaking face and they're distorted and mutated or what? Not necessarily, but they only have so many assets. They're not going to create, like, you know, every type of possible zombie iteration that you can get out of a living person who is being infested by death blight maggots. So thus we have just the worm face. It gets the concept across. It was probably something that they were discussing. A concept artist came out with it. Miyazaki was like, oh, I like that idea. Let's put that in the game. And then they did not discuss it any further. Yeah. Targray's, it's definitely at least understood in the religion, the modern religion of Dark Souls Tuesday, that the old ones come from Drangleic, and that likely was carried over from Haiden culture, for sure. The path to the Huntsman's Copse may be helping because of Gwyn in the volcano with the lava. Sure, you could definitely make an argument there that the, again, we don't have any evidence of Haiden influence past that temple, really, but you could make an argument that that was, that path to the volcano, again, going by DS2's incredibly limited, you know, gameplay with the map paths. You could definitely make that argument, Nobre. I think that's fair to say. Alright, so, let's, ooh. Is there, yeah, you know, you guys are probably right, because the rest of the foliage here looks like it's going with the green stuff, so it's probably just a more brownish-looking green. Yeah, from here it looks a lot less. Where I was looking at it looked a lot more, like, over here, it looked a lot more, had that yellow look to it that we see with the Lindell stuff, but it's probably just the overexposed lighting, making the brownish green look like that. Yeah, this stuff looks more typical. Wait, Haida was more than being part of a name of an underwhelming area? Yeah, lore-wise, it is implied to be the name of a quote-unquote country, and if you read my Haida article, or Hades, whichever you prefer, that's what I think, Firekeeper and stuff go with in-game, but I say Haida because that's how the Japanese, the Japanese pronounce it Haida. I thought it would be pronounced Heidi, but apparently there's a thing called a schwa, and you pronounce it like Haida, which makes sense, because there's a lot of other Germanic words that, like Hilda, that work like that, but whatever, anyway. Point is that, yeah, I have an entire article. Check the link in the description. You can find my Haida article under DS2. It's kind of essential to understanding DS2, so I definitely highly recommend you check it out. Yeah, Haida and Shulva are like the two founding pillars of like the cultural history in the Dark Souls setting. Sorry, Dark Souls 2 setting, I should specify. Okay, let's just get shots of these. I feel like we've seen these little frames that these trees are in somewhere else. I think it's Stormvale. There we go. All right. Where is it? I know they're here. Where are my little shield boys? Ah, I was right. I was like, I know I've seen that before. I knew I'd seen that before. As it's been forever, but I've seen it 100%. Oh! And it has the trees. Well, what do you know? What do you know? The only difference is they took out the princelings with the shield. What do you know? Gonna have to keep that in mind. Just to make sure, a bit of timeline. Stormvale Castle existed before Godwyn died. Yes, the construction of Stormvale Castle as a penal colony began, back during the, before the Age of Plenty proper, before the war with the Giants. That's when the Banished Knights were first, well, banished. And them and the Exile Soldiers and all that, right? The Farum colonists, as I call them, for when they were living up on the plateau. That's when Marika had them banished, as she talks about here, at the voices that Melina remember there. Sends them all the way down here to build the colony. Then, presumably due to terrible working conditions, because of the terrible storm that existed when the Storm King was still around, it wasn't really completed until much, much later. We're talking post-Age of Plenty, post-Liurnia Wars, around the time the Ancient Dragon Wars was happening, most likely, was when construction finished. That's when the penal colonists rebelled, and with the support of the Stormhawk King, they were able to wrest control of their freedom, and then they were able to sort of reconstitute themselves as knights and spread their influence across the entire region before Godfrey then came in, took over Stormvale after slaying the Storm King, and then continued to basically spend the remainder of his reign trying to conquer these frontier lands in rebellion. Actually, I can see where they just added a gold color and shine to the texture, so it seems to be almost exactly the same asset. Yeah, it's definitely, it's 100% the same asset. They just, you know, took away the shield boys and, like you said, maybe added some stuff to the texture, though. Maybe that's lighting. I don't know. I have to compare it to the, I have to compare it. But we see, something similar happen with the flower imagery and stuff. We know that the Erd Tree didn't exist in Farum Azula's time. I wouldn't be surprised if they just failed to remove the tree imagery because they're like, you know, we have floral imagery associated with the Elden Ring already, so it's not that crazy to keep that there, and it's so small or whatever, right? The important thing was getting rid of the people with shields, I think, because they don't consider them, again, it makes sense in the context of this area and stuff, and Stormvale, right? Act as a bulwark castle from, invading the motherland here, right at this choke point. Obviously also defending, of course, Godfrey and the Golden Lineage here, as they establish all the propaganda. But yeah. I think it's understandable. I've been wondering what the area leading to where the Godwyn face is, because on some level it feels like the castle is built around the area you find the face. Okay, so you are right, but not because of the Godwyn face. It's because of the Erd Tree roots. Remember that you do fight a tree spirit here, and obviously the Godwyn face is there because the Great Roots are there, and that's how the Deathblight stuff is spreading. It's through the Great Roots, and they're sort of infesting areas to varying degrees at random. So what we see here is actually just an old Erd Tree burial site. You got the hooded women, which represent Marika with her vase, you know, giving the Age of Plenty and stuff. You have some saint statues because of the pagan cultural context. Some sage statues as well, but you see some of those also elsewhere, so that's not too crazy. We also have a unique statue of the hooded woman in this area alone, so that's really cool and stuff. But yeah, so the idea is clearly supposed to be like, you know, sort of the typical pagan image, also one for knowledge and learning. This is probably, if I had to guess, these were probably installed with the intention of helping to kind of get these farm colonists, you know, in line more so with how Marika and co were going to be doing things. Sort of like, this is our cultural practice right now. You know, you guys have your own way of doing Erd Tree burial, but we have ours. And then you have layered on top of that, of course, the idea that you had this super like temple shrine structure, right? So yeah, probably the bodies would be consecrated here, right? Most likely, or something to that effect. If not, regardless, you would still have this little consecration area to prepare for burial, right? You would then have the bodies put on a boat, and then they would be put down the waterway here in order to be granted a new beginning within the Erd Tree, right? And then, of course, this would be where the roots and stuff are, but now they just put a Godwyn model. Right. And we have the tree spirit bursting out of the ground, like, right here-ish, right? Also, they use boat burials here, too. Yeah, they use the boats in order to facilitate the burial, because there's the water here, right? So they have the great roots here, but it seems instead of just draining all the water and stuff, they're like, okay, we'll just put up our typical, burn bones and stuff and have ghost flame torches, right? And then they would be absorbed into the great roots after sailing down the river Styx, as it were. So that's the idea here. And the Godwyn thing is sort of ancillary. Now, granted, I don't know if that's how it always was in the lore. There's a lot of content that would suggest otherwise, but that seems to be what the intention is with the final game. Also, you are 100% expected to ignore the fact that these tentacles are not the same type of thorny branch tentacles that would, say, kill our friend here. Right? Or that you would find usually associated with Deathroot, because those quote-unquote tentacles aren't really viney thorn branches. They're actually just a bunch of maggots coalesced together, and then you have the fly wings from when they mature sticking out as the quote-unquote thorns. So yeah, super cool. Yeah, exactly. Again, what you have to realize is that a lot of the burial stuff in this game is mostly for flavor. It's mostly just the game trying to give you a rich diversity of ways of which Erd Tree burial is handled. So you have the coffin cemeteries, you have the cliffside graves, you have the regular little graveyards with varying different gravestones so you don't get bored. And for the most part, it's just there for the sake of visual variety, so you don't get bored looking at the same thing whenever they're trying to represent, oh, people were buried here, right? There are, like, very few exceptions to that. There is something where you can, like, build extra lore details from. But for the most part, it really is just sort of various types of flavor, and it's nothing really to think too hard about. And in the case of Godwyn, it's just a matter of, okay, wherever there's a burial, there's a potential of Godwyn's influence infesting the area. Alright, chat, I think we're going to call it. It's been 2.5 hours, basically, and I will say this. We got a lot done today, a lot more than I was expecting. I'm very impressed with what we learned as well. So I want to thank all of you for helping me out here and giving me someone to talk to as we go through this wonderful experience. I appreciate it. But that'll be all for today. I don't know what we're going to be doing this week. I wanted to do Unicorn Overlord the other day, but something came up and I just had to skip streaming, whatever, right? Maybe we'll do HSR if I'm really not feeling it. I would like to get back to the lore play for Dark Souls 1, though. So we'll see if tomorrow or Friday we can get that done. So I'll figure it out. Yeah. All right. Later, everybody. Bye-bye. Thanks again.